And welcome back to Houston Newsmakers with my guest, State Senator John Whitmire, candidate for Houston mayor. Senator Whitmire, the city's future depends upon the finances. They're a critical situation here. Outgoing Controller Chris Brown has said, quote, the city is facing a fiscal cliff. He says the city's expenditures are forecast to increase faster than the revenues, and that recent deficits have been plugged with COVID money recently and early years by sale of land and other kind of assets. Your challenge now, as you want to resolve this, if what he says is true, it's a real challenge for you going in.
And Chris Brown's correct. We have serious challenges. And what we have to do, Kimber, is quit kicking the can down the road and be honest with the citizens of Houston. We have to also cut out waste and duplication, conflicts of interest that are raising the cost of city government. We also have to look to our TERS and management districts to partner with them to receive some of the revenue that once went to the city, and now the TERS and management districts. We got to partner with the county, cut out duplication, see if they will work with us on a park system and a library system that shows a partnership between Houston and Harris County. And we have to reach out to the state. Because of the poor relationships between Houston City Hall and the state capitol, we do not get our fair share of state resources. I know for a fact, because of my contacts and experience, I can work with across the aisle, work with the new land commissioner, Don Buckingham, the land commissioner, was a colleague of mine in the Senate. She'll work with us. So it's not going to be easy. And we're going to be very transparent. That's the first thing. You got to let the Houstonians and the city council know what the true picture is. We do not have a $400 million surplus. No reasonable person would say we have a surplus. You only have money in the bank because you're not paying your bills. You don't have a contract with the firefighters. You are not taking care of your infrastructure. I can go on and on why we do not have a surplus. Chris Brown's correct. The partnership came out last week with a study saying we've got some real challenges. Houstonians know it. So I'll be honest, I'll be transparent, we'll cut out waste, duplication, then we'll let the folks, the voters, know what the true financial picture of the city is. Because there's a lack of transparency down there now and way too many conflicts of interest.
So thinking about that, what would you have done? I mentioned this earlier in the last segment. If you were in charge the last 4 years, what would you have done differently? You've seen stuff you said weird.
I'd have been much more transparent about the issues, the challenges. I would not be saying that we've got crime under control. I would not be saying that we've got a surplus. Transparency's been my best friend during my experience in government. Let the people know what the city business is.
Now, what would you say about the campaign chest, war chest you have, and talking about transparency, because they say that, look, you, for a 3-month period from July through September, you outspent the other candidates combined, and because you have a lot of money that you combine through your years in the Senate, and you use some of that money to invest to get funds from that way, and that's not part of what should be used for these kinds of contests.
It's following the Ethics Commission in Austin, the city attorney's office. We're in compliance. It's the exact same thing that Sylvester Turner did, shifting state treasury amounts, campaign accounts over to the city. It's all in compliance within the limits of the city. My opponents have to say something. They're not going to say nice things about me, but I didn't go down this path without due diligence, legal advice, and more importantly, following the law of the Ethics Commission and the city attorney's office. The city ordinances dictate what we do. So I managed the funds properly, always thinking I would either give it to charity or a major race. And the major race came, and I will still share it with charity as I do on a regular basis.
So talking about some of the things, you've mentioned a number of the things, the infrastructure, potholes, that kind of stuff going on. There's a lot to be done. You talked about all the things you would try to do. Is there a chance that all of this stuff could be done without raising taxes, or what do the residents have to look?
As I've said, I don't think we know what the city finances really are because of the lack of transparency. When you come up and say you've got a $400 million surplus because it sounds good politically, and then reality is that you don't have a contract with the firefighters for over 7 years that have to sit down and work out a fair schedule of payment for them and resources for fire, police, first responders, fix this infrastructure. You don't know what the true picture is, but you have to be honest and transparent, and the voters will understand. In a revenue cap exception for public safety would be one of the first things you would approach the public with. I think if we've scrubbed city finances and say we need more money for fire and police, revenue cap exception, I think, would be looked upon very favorable. I will lead this city like I want to, because I live here. My grandkids live here. Houston's a great city, and I want to unite this city. I want Houstonians to be involved in the decision making, which I quite frankly think most times they're left out.
Got a minute left here. Your early voting is underway now. The general election's on November the 7th. What are you telling voters as they go in and they're just not quite sure? They got so many choices.
I think it's a clear choice.
Yeah.
Experience, can-do, attitude, contacts, work across the aisle, unite Houston. Have a team that is there for the right reason.
And your experience that you've had over the 50 years or so that you've been in politics,
Yes.
you think is not a detriment, but it's a help.
It's absolutely an asset, and I'm willing to bring it and work and give some of the best remaining years of my life to the Houston issues and to Houstonians. That's how important it is.
Senator Whitmire, thank you for coming in. We appreciate it. And I want to thank you as well for being willing to sacrifice significant parts of your life just to be a public servant for
My
others.
whole adult life has been a public servant. It's a calling.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be judged someday by what we did with our public service. And I think you're a public servant, whether you're ever on a ballot or not. We're all going to be judged. What did you do to make this a better world?
Yeah.
And I've been doing it since I was a 22-year-old U of H student, and the best years are still left.
Go Cougs.
Yes. Yeah.
Senator, thank you.
you.
Always good to have you.
I
Good
enjoy it.
luck. Be safe on the campaign trail.
Thank you.
Appreciate
You too.
it.